All right, guys, another week, another training. This is Team Prosperity training that we do most every week that covers different parts and different components of the business model, building financial services agencies nationwide. And it also breaks down other things outside the business model components like high performance, and things like that to help you get ahead of yourself, your internal competition, your external competition. And then we have programs like the 12-week year that we run usually a few times a year to help you guys learn how to get more out of a quarter than most people do out of a year. So it's not just about the business model components. It's about, being better at what we do, learning, implementing. So that's exactly what we do every week. And we just do a quick review of the last week's training. Last week, we talked about from zero to scaling. This is building your nationwide virtual financial services business. This is if you are brand new, if you're struggling to get traction, or if you've been around for a while and maybe you're in a restart position. Great training. I suggest that as your new agents come in, they have access to that. Some will watch it, some will, or some won't. But this is all about the ability to get ahead and get that quick start. So today we're going to shift gears just a little bit and we're going to go into a timely training. This is the summer surge training, leveraging warm and common market conversations to grow your business. This is how to reignite relationships and deliver real value without feeling salesy. Most of you guys are reluctant to have conversations because you always thinking you're pitching, selling, recruiting. If you get out of that mindset and understand that people need this information, people need this education, people need these plans of action, execution, coaching, all the things that we do, it'll give you a mission-based perspective instead of a commission-based perspective. And once you do that, you realize that a lot of people need what we have. And if you lead with value-based propositions and lead conversations with education, how you help people just like them, it becomes a lot easier to fill up that pipeline than go out and try to create lead generation from the typical ways that most people in financial services do it. So welcome. Today's team training is all about working smarter. This isn't all about just working as hard as you can, because in this industry and a lot of other industries, you can work as hard as you can and not make nearly the amount of money that someone makes that works less hard than you, but works a lot smarter. So working smarter, not harder during a time when many people slow down. The summer is notorious with a slowdown. So if you're the type of person that kind of kicks back during the summer and then about, late August when school starts up, people start to check back to reality, you get back to your business, it is a major blow to your business. So you need to work during the summer. Yes, you're going to have vacations, family reunions, cookouts. I'm not telling you to ignore the summer. I'm telling you to work through the summer. So what if you could use this season to make real connections, generate interest, and build momentum using the people that you already know or have some kind of shared connection with? This training today will show you how to do just that authentically without being pushy. And then once you adopt this mentality and communication, it becomes a lot easier to build your business and then teach other agents how to build it as well. So we're going to kick it off with, why is the summer the perfect time? Well, the perfect time for most people to slow down, but why is the summer the perfect time to pick it up and make sure that you push through into the fall? Well, because it has meaningful opportunity for you. So the summer brings natural moments of interaction, barbecue, sports, reunions, pool parties. Those people are in a relaxed state of mind. They're not stressed out. The summertime is about relaxation, and that they're often more emotionally open at that time to have these types of conversations. This gives you a chance to reconnect, have a meaningful conversation and that's extremely important, without it being business first. If you learn the art of communication, you will build this business and it will be a robust business for you. If you don't learn the art of communication, you're going to struggle and people are going to be, turning their backs towards you, not wanting to hear what you say. So it can't be business first. You got to interject business at the right point, at the right time for a solution to either a problem they've exposed or a goal they have. Plus, many people are traveling. They're spending money, thinking about finances, or maybe feeling stretched. That's where we can bring value. Growing up, my dad had a restaurant. He had 1 week off in July. He took us to the beach. He made no revenue or income that week and spent a lot of money. So, people are thinking about money, thinking about finances. Once again, if you can introduce the conversation without being salesy, without being business first, and then back it up with value-based proposition guides, education, masterclasses, webinars, whatever it might be, it becomes easier, much easier to build a pipeline. Warm market versus common market. So there is a blur here. It's not a defined line. And you'll see that in a minute. But your warm market and your common market is some of the best places to revisit. Many people have the misconception that the warm market is when you start something. I'll introduce this to people I know, and then I'll move on to all the rest of the markets. Warm market is not a one and done. It's a walk of life. And you'll have to revisit those. If you have a cold prospect, and that cold prospect is usually interacting with you about the fourth to seventh follow-up, why would you think your warm market, your common market would be any different? So you have to keep in front of people, once again, in a meaningful way that's not salesy, not pushy, that's inviting them to do what? Learn. Learn how to get what they want, learn how to avoid the problems they don't want to have. So warm market versus common market. So, you have a great deal of people that you can talk to. And, the warm market and the common market can oftentimes bleed over and, kind of have a blur to it. And sometimes it can have a defining line. So these are all the people that you should be considering touching up with this summer. Friends, family, acquaintances, social media followers. Now, LinkedIn has a lot of people that I'm connected with that I don't really know. Facebook is more people that I know. So understand what platform you're on and understand, is it common market? Is it warm market? Is it a blur of both? Past coworkers and classmates. There's a lot of people that, are disenchanted. They're upset. They're mad about where they are professionally. They're mad about where they are financially, and they're looking to get ahead. Are you going to be the person that steps up to the plate and shows them how to do that, or is it going to be somebody else? So past coworkers and classmates, church, gym, clubs, those social places that we go that creates that either loose or a more firm affiliation with those people. Parents of your kids' friends. So if you have young kids and you are surrounded by a bunch of parents with other young kids, guess what? They need financial planning. Those kids might go to college. Those kids might start a business. Those parents probably need insurance. Those people need to learn how to get out of debt and build wealth. So understand the loose affiliation, the commonality is having a kid the same age as them. Talk to them about what you do for people with kids and how that helps alleviate problems, set goals, get clear directions and paths towards those goals. Other professionals in your community. Summertime's a great time to reach out and figure out, what are people doing? How are they getting prepped up for the fall? Is the year turning out like they thought it would? If not, what's happening? Is it them? Is it their opportunity that they're in? Can you help them in any way? And then former or current clients you loosely stay in touch with. Lost deals can be a great way in the summertime to revisit. If you've taken somebody all the way down, the education, the reports, the illustrations, whatever it might be, and there's a Q&A session set up, maybe they just got busy or something. A lost deal doesn't mean a dead deal. Sometimes it does, but it definitely means a dead deal if you're not going to revisit the situation. So this is my advice. These are not cold leads. These are people who already have some level of trust with you. You don't have to build from scratch. Part of the problem about going into things like the cold market is you have to have things online or have ways that you can establish trust, rapport, credibility before they even speak to you. People that know you, people have relationships, affiliations with you. You don't have to go through that surface level process. You just need to re-engage. Open your mouth, learn the art of communication, talk about helping people, not talk about what you sell. The do's and don'ts for reaching out. You can do a lot of reaching out and get no response back as far as positive responses back, or you can do far little and get more. So these are the do's and the don'ts of reaching out. And once you understand the art of communication, this becomes very easy, because what are you doing? The only thing you're doing here is you're sorting people. Once you learn the art of communication, this person doesn't want to be helped. I'm moving on. This person does want to be helped, but lack the resources. I'll keep them on email lists and things like that. This person does want to be helped, has the resources, they're ready to go, concentrated on them. So what do you do in communication? Be real, be personable, keep the messages short and curiosity based. People aren't going to read a long email. People aren't going to read a long text. People aren't going to listen to a long voicemail. They might not listen to your voicemail at all, but on the written communication, can't be long. It's got to be quick, to the point. It's got to be curiosity based, and then lead to a call to action which is usually, some value-based proposition. Ask questions, not pitch products. I tell you guys that if you learn to run your business and you learn to network and you learn to ask questions like you're on a blind date, that's all you got to do. Because what are those questions going to do? They're going to uncover problems, uncover goals, uncover things where you can interject yourself in the conversation with the right place at the right point in time, with the right value-based proposition, information, next action step, whatever it might be, that makes sense to them based on what they're saying. Let the conversation be about them, especially in the warm and common market. You want to get them talking. That's all you have to do on the front side of marketing and lead generation. You just have to get people talking. The right people will talk, expose information to you. You can use that information to uncover a problem that has a solution and action step to. That's the pyramid of influence that we've gone over before. Master that, it's a lot easier. These are the do's, these are the don'ts. Don't lead with a sales script. Guys, that is going to kill you. Now, when you get out to common market, you're paying for lead generation online, things like that, a little bit different. But these particular markets, you don't want to lead with a sales script. You want to be authentic. People are going to see right through that. You do not want to apologize for reaching out. That belittles you. That brings you down a few notches. That doesn't give you a power position in the call. Never apologize for reaching out. You could be the person that changes their financial life. Why are you apologizing for that? And then never, ever, over explain the first message. Keep it short, keep it curiosity based with the action steps, something they can grab, something they can opt in for. These are the things that you don't do. So you have the things that you do, you have the things you don't do. Just like yourself, you learn from your wins and your losses, your strengths and your weaknesses. You need to learn what to do and then what not to do. An example of what to do. Hey, Mike, just thought of you. Quick question. Have you ever looked at how much the bank is profiting from your mortgage or your debt? It's wild. I've been learning about it recently and I'm absolutely shocked. Do you guys know how much the average person spends in interest per their whole lifetime? It's in our interactive Convert Debt to Wealth presentation. It's over 600 grand. Think about 2/3 of that rerouted into a retirement account that can build for them. Would that be significant? So these are the things that you have to understand that you can do for people. And once you understand the power of what we can do for people, you're no longer going out like a salesperson. You're an educator. You're a consultant. You're somebody that can potentially change their financial life. Is that meaningful? Yeah, you better believe it is. Summer scripts that spark curiosities. That was a little example, but let's go into some different ones because we have different parts of the business model. And this is why asking questions is so important, because if you're going in with a pre-hidden agenda that you're trying to sell mortgage protection insurance to this person and you don't let them talk and you're just mortgage protection, mortgage protection, mortgage protection, it's not going to hit because they're not thinking about mortgage protection. Maybe they're thinking about something else. So the questions that you ask, the information they're going to give you are going to allow you to interject yourself with whatever part of the business model component would be best for them to start out with. Remembering and understanding, it doesn't matter where they come in. We have multiple ways that we can help our clients, and usually our average client buys about 3 products from us. So the debt to wealth hook. Quick question. Have you ever thought about how much money the bank will make off your mortgage or credit cards over the next 5 years? Help people flip that equation, flip the script, beat the banks, whatever you want to say. You want to learn how. We got free guides, we got free master classes, free webinars, client win stories. Now, if you're brand new, you don't have any client win stories, use some of ours, ask for them. Client of mine just freed up $1,200 a month by canceling future interest payments. That's real money back in their pocket. Maybe think of you, curious if you want to see how it works. Would somebody want an extra $1,200 a month? Well, yeah, that could help fund retirement. That could asset, if they need to fund their kids' education, whatever it might be. Anything is better than just continuing to give the bank money, not to service the debt, but just to pay interest on the debt. Like we see in our savings reports, these people become foot soldiers for the bank. They're working, creating energy, creating money, and almost, in many cases, 50% of that is just going to the bank. No salesy summer intro. So you don't, these are things you want to avoid. You don't want to be salesy. You don't want to sound like that insurance agent, that financial agent. Hey, hope you're enjoying summer so far. We're not leading with business. I'm working on something interesting that's helping a lot of people right now. Not sure if it would work for you, if it would be a fit, but I would love to catch up either way. That's great, because what are you doing? You're showing interest in them. Hey, we need to connect. Also, there might be something coming up in the conversation that you've inserted here they can be ready for, so they're not hit blindside. Hey, remember I told you I was working on something? Let me tell you a little bit about it. Conversation flow strategy. Remember, you have lead generation and then you have cycles of communication where you're either disqualifying or qualifying people and moving them to the next action steps, or if they're unwilling to go to the next action step, that's a disqualification. So this is what you're trying to accomplish. Curiosity leads to value, leads to an invitation. That's perfect. Hey, we're bringing up something that's getting them curious, getting them some general interest. Now we're going to back that up with a value-based proposition that asks nothing of them other than maybe some opt-in information. And we're going to invite them to go ahead and grab it, read it, attend the masterclass, whatever it is. Curiosity, value, invite, CVI. That's how you want to run it, not POG. It's pitch, objection, ghosted. So if you're going to come out and you're going to just pitch people, sell people without really warming up the conversation, then what you're going to find is that you're going to pitch, you're going to get some type of an objection, and then they're just going to ghost you. They're not going to talk to you anymore. They're not going to answer your emails, your text, or anything. So you have to avoid that, and you do that by learning what to do, what not to do in the different markets. Common market, warm market. This is perfect. You don't want to do that, be that person at the family barbecue or reunion that nobody wants to talk to you because you're pitching, letting the objections roll in, and then nobody wants to talk to you at the reunion, on the phone, or via email. So understand what you're doing and then understand the framework and the example flow. So the framework is you got to lead with curiosity. That is the best way to lead. And you know what the best call to action is? Learn more. You want to learn more? This is how you do it. So you lead with curiosity, you deliver value, and you end with an invite. That's that's the equation, guys. That's how you do it. In the example flow, hey, quick question. I'm helping a few people. If you're open, I'll be happy to show you in 10 minutes. So, hey, quick question. Whatever that is, whatever you can test stuff. What's going to get the best response from your network, from your inner circles, from your warm market and common market? We all have different people that we hang out and associate with. So your message might be a little bit different from somebody else's. So but the example flow is you're creating the curiosity. Hey, quick question. Did you know? Were you aware? Blah, blah, blah. Deliver value. I'm helping a few people flip the script, beat the banks, take their money back, and then end with an invite. If you're open to it, I'd show you in 10 minutes or grab the guide, grab the masterclass, whatever it might be. So you have the conversation flow strategy. And this is all you got to do. You just have to interject this into your business. You have to follow a framework and a pattern, and you have to teach other people how to do the same thing if you want to build distribution. And then we're going to tie it in with social media. And so social media is either people you know or don't know. It's a mix of both, depending on what platform that you're on and who you've invited into your network. But social media tie-in can be very extremely valuable because you want to be seen doing meaningful work, not just pitching. How are you helping people? What are people saying about you once you get your business up and running? You want to be personal. You want to be authentic. You don't want to be fake. People are going to be able to sniff that out online. Share behind the scenes work. Hey, working on this strategy today. What's going right? What's going wrong sometimes? How are you helping people? Post stories and win. Another client just did what? They just signed up to cancel out 350,000 in debt and save themselves 18 years off their debt. Who else wants to know how to do it? And then mention how you're helping families, not selling insurance. You help, right? And that goes from mission based, not commission based. You don't want to be thinking about selling insurance, making a paycheck. If you help out enough people, all that will fall into line. But what you want to be thinking about and talking about and expressing online is how you're helping individuals and families to get people, hey, that sounds like me. Maybe I should talk to this person. And these are some content idea starters. So when you're working on social media, and AI is a great place to go, not necessarily to write stuff about you personally, but to get frameworks. Hey, over the next 60 days, I want to make posts. I want to, get entertainment, education, information in these posts. I want it to be engaging. I want it to be motivating, inspiration, whatever. And it'll give you some ideas, some framework. But, working on some creative strategies to help families eliminate over 180,000 in future interest payments, reroute that back to them to create retirement wealth, whatever it might be. What's your message to the crowd? What if the bank's rules could be used against them in your favor? Whoa, has anybody ever thought about? That's a conversation I've been having a lot lately. So the banks are designed to what? To become extremely profitable. What if you use the banking principles and the rules of the bank that they use to become profitable to make yourself and your family wealthy and profitable? This is the type of stuff we do. You just need to learn how to talk about it in a meaningful way. And then we're going to go to the challenge of the week. So this is, I try to give you guys stuff that you can take to yourself, to your agents as they come in, and give them challenges. Hey, what should I be doing? Hey, this is your challenge for the week. So this is, as you build your agency, you also want to give people stuff to be doing. So this week, challenge for the week is identify 10 people in your warm common market. Send 5 messages today, tomorrow. Post 1 social media piece with a curiosity value angle, and then set a goal. 3 conversations from it. If nothing comes in at the top of the funnel, absolutely nothing can come out at the bottom of the funnel as far as outcomes. You guys have to understand that's not hard to digest. You have to have as much coming in the top of the funnel as possible, create the lead generations, create the cycles of communication, disqualify, qualify. You have to have goals. You have to have a plan of action and execution. If you have no goals going into the week, probably not going to accomplish much. That's why the Sunday preparation day is so important. What did you get done last week? What were your wins? What were your losses? What did you do well? What did you not do well? What are your 3 big wins coming up for this week that you want to get done? Challenge yourself and challenge your agents every single week to do these things, because if they don't have a framework or a blueprint or something to do, a lot of them are just going to, twiddle their thumbs in the corner and wait for instruction. You need to be that instruction, and you need to either, get the people, your agents that are working, and spend time with them. But if they're not doing anything, don't spend time with them. You can't want this more than your agents want, and you can't, open their mouth and talk for them. If they're not willing to go out and do some of the things that we're teaching, there's absolutely nothing that we can do on the backside to help them out. Small actions done consistently win the game, right? Have you ever seen like an athlete have a few good years? They sign this monster contract, long-term contract, a lot of money in the off season. You come back like, whoa, what happened to this person? The hunger was gone. They got paid, right? They didn't do the small actions consistently to keep them where they are. So small actions done consistently win the game. Let's treat this like a weekly challenge so we can dominate together. And these are the final takeaways from today's training. Summer isn't slow if you're intentional. That is extremely important to understand. It doesn't matter fall, winter, spring, or summer. It doesn't matter what season it is. If you're intentional in what you're doing, you can build your business, sun, snow, rain, whatever the season, whatever the weather is, you can build your business. You've got everything you need. You've got relationships, tools, languages to start conversations, and to be able to create business. You have to be real. You have to be curious. You have to be consistent. You'll be amazed at how many people, if you get into the habit of doing this and you put some effort, time, energy, resources into your business, you'll be surprised how many people you actually start to talk to. You know what? I've actually been meaning to talk to somebody about this. When you hear that, that's perfect, because you're at the right place, at the right time, with the right person who's ready to hear it. But you don't get to that place if you're never having conversations. So once again, understand what to do, what not to do, understand the communication flows, and understand that it's all on you. You can be as busy or as slow as you want it to. The season has absolutely nothing to do with that.